Belts are fastened. Lou Williams for the win. Bingo!
Oh my goodness!
By Landry, Ariza dropped down. Kobe! Oh! Up high! Down hard! Kobe Bryant!
They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry!
Kawhi aggressive to the rack.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another post-game live here on Dime Dropper for the 2024-25 season. Before we get started, you already know the drill. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube at Dime Dropper and hit the notification bell so you know every single time we post a video or go live. You're home for all things NBA, LA sports, and of course, the home of LA basketball. Tonight, we got some things to talk about, ladies and gentlemen, and Los Angeles basketball fans. We got the Clippers against the Pelicans, our third straight win. And then we have a trade to discuss. Laker Nation, D'Angelo Russell being traded from the Lakers to the Nets for a second time. Dorian Finney-Smith on the way to LA. In fact, already in LA alongside Shake Milton. We'll also be touching on their game against the Kings yesterday. But a late night live, I want to apologize yet again to everybody for consistently not going live right when games end. I've just had so much stuff come up in my life recently that has just not allowed me to do games on time, but I'm going to try my best to be better about that, especially tomorrow's game against the Spurs. I know we got New Year's Eve tomorrow, but I'm going to see what I can do, and I'm going to just try to be better. But at the same time, I just want to make sure I get something out, because at the end of the day, I feel like most of my views on these lives come from the next morning, so I want to be able to have an episode for everybody talking about every Laker or Clipper game. So let's start with the Clippers against the Pelicans tonight in New Orleans. I want to give a shout out to my boys Vlad and DL2. They were at the game representing in New Orleans. But, the story with the Pelicans this year, and I'm actually one of those people that kind of likes the Pelicans. I like Brandon Ingram. I actually have grown to like Zion. Nothing against DeJounte and CJ McCollum, but they've been so unbelievably injured all season long. It's even made me as a Clipper fan be like, wow, like I feel bad for them. But not really in a grand scheme of things, because I'm a Clipper fan. I don't feel bad for any fucking body. Now, in terms of matchups to start the game, we had Zoo on Yves Missy, who I'm going to talk about. I was very impressed with him. James Harden and Norman Powell were actually splitting their time on CJ McCollum, and I think that's part of the reason why CJ actually ended up having a really solid game. He was really trying to go at Harden. He was turning the corner on him every time, not letting him off the hook. Norman Powell was just okay on him, but, CJ shot 48% from the field in this game and made 8 threes. Had 33 points. So CJ McCollum, we've seen him over the years, what he's capable of doing, and he was able to get pretty hot from the get-go. Now, as far as New Orleans, of course, they were going to have Herb Jones guarding James Harden, and they had no Ingram, no Zion, but everybody else is back. They have DeJounte, they have CJ McCollum, they have Herb Jones and Trey Murphy, and both centers were in drop coverage. And I think it was a good start for Zubats. He got to 2 nice right-handed jump hooks early on. James Harden had a 4-point play and a solid first quarter where he had 9 points. And then Chris Dunn and Derrick Jones Jr. were active early, both ends of the floor. But the New Orleans Pelicans, they began this game raining. And this is a bottom 4 team in the league shooting the 3 ball this season at just 33%. And they were coming up absolutely splashing. By the way, James Harden had 10 points in the first quarter, not 9. But the Pelicans were 7 for 13 in the first quarter. And I can't even lie to you, I don't even think all of them were bad defense. I think they just started making shots and were playing good offense as well as they could. But second quarter, so they were up 37-31 after 1. Second quarter broke dead even at 25 points apiece. Mo Bamba was also in drop coverage. And I actually thought he did some good things. There was one sequence where he contested a shot at the rim on one end and then finished on the other. So this was one of those games where I thought Mo was decent, or pretty good. I'd say more good than bad, but obviously not, too much of an impact. He only played 8 minutes in the game. As far as other players coming off the bench making an impact, I thought Nico Batum all game long, just great moments of good hands and fantastic contests. I mean, I've said it for years, but he's one of those guys that when he puts his hand up when he's guarding somebody, they just usually don't make the shot. He's got such long arms. Now, the Pelicans, they went on an 18-2 run in that second quarter. They were making every three. and not even easy shots, whether it be CJ or Trey Murphy. They were knocking down shots. And again, I thought our defense wasn't great, especially James Harden, who I thought was pretty awful defensively all night long outside of this one interception that he made. He didn't get a steal for that, which I'm shocked about. I don't know how that's true. Oh, my bad. That was the first half stats. But yeah, he had one interception. But other than that, defensively, he was, and I've actually said recently he's been pretty good defensively, but he was getting blown by so easily. And it's like when he has those games where he doesn't play defense, like the games that have given him the reputation of being who he is on defense, he like just doesn't even give a shit. Like he just doesn't even bend his knees. So that's rough to watch, but he is carrying such a big offensive load, so I won't be too hard on him. But we were down 59-45, and Harden in that stretch, he was kind of bullshitting. He was missing free throws. He was playing lazy D. There was one time where Zubats got Trey Murphy on him on a switch and was trying to post up, and he instead went ISO for the entire possession and lost the ball. So, but we as a team did a good job ending that second quarter well, and Chris Dunn, he really led the charge. One of the threes he made, another one he made the kick out pass on the short roll, and his hands were just incredible all game, whether it be, on ball steals or off ball steals or jumping into the passing lane, just reading where the offense is going to go. I think he's had so many great steals of just having this anticipation of where the play's going, where a player is going to turn or where they're going to pass the ball so much this season. So he's been a revelation. He's been a guy that definitely deserves to have his name in defensive team considerations. And in this game, he was just massive. Now, I thought what we did really well was even after going down by 14, we weathered that storm really nicely with those 2 straight threes and taking advantage of the fact that Norman Powell was starting to get blitzed. Because in that second quarter, he had a decent chunk of points, 15 to be exact. So he played the entire second quarter. He was our only player that played that whole quarter, and he had 15 points on 5 for 7 shooting. So naturally, the Pels were starting to show a little bit more resistance on those pick and rolls by sending their guy who was guarding the screener out to the level of the screen. But we were down 56-62 at half. New Orleans was shooting 46% from 3 while we were only shooting 29%. So at this point of the game, I'm still thinking look, we've built good habits this season. We have become accustomed to grinding out wins. The New Orleans Pelicans have been accustomed to losing games a lot in every single way, shape, or form. So I was confident that we were going to pull this one out, even when we were down by 6 at halftime, also because we have the best player on the court, which is James Harden. And you can make the argument, and this season there's no argument, that we have the second best player on the court in Norman Powell. And if I'm being honest with you, this season, look me dead in the eye and tell me that CJ McCollum and DeJounte Murray have been better than Ivica Zubats. You would be lying to yourself. So I'm feeling I was feeling confident going into that second half, but we had a really bad start to the third. CJ McCollum made 2 threes right away, some pretty lazy defense. Harden, he was making 3 balls, but other than that, terrible turnovers, bad defense. It was, a lot of the good and bad with Harden in one game. So it was just an up and down corner in general, but I thought Chris Dunn and Derek Jones Jr., they were just such great constants throughout the game. In the third quarter, we outscored the Pels 31-28 to cut the deficit down to 3 going into the fourth quarter. James Harden played the entire third. He was the only player that did, and he had 13 points, 4 free throws, 3 threes. He shot 4 times, and all his shots were threes, but he made 3 of them to go along with 2 assists. He did turn the ball over 3 times in the quarter, though, and was bad defensively. But if you had to pick who was our best player in that quarter, I'd say either Derek Jones Jr. or James Harden. But yeah, going into the fourth, down by 3, and I thought James did a good job driving and kicking. Derek Jones Jr., I shared a clip tonight on Twitter. This guy, there was one possession defensively in that fourth where he was switched on to everybody and got in front of everybody and didn't, sliding his feet really well, not letting anybody get around him. And then he eventually ends up causing the turnover. And also, when Norm or James were getting any semblance of 2 on the ball on pick and rolls, they were finding Zoo in that short roll. And we've talked about it so much this season that Ivica Zubats has taken such strides in that short roll. But Derek Jones Jr. diving from the baseline when Zoo catches the ball in the middle of the floor in that short roll is so lethal We love Terrence Mann doing it, but Derek's even more of a potent threat on that because of his vertical ability. So you can just throw it up to the rafters and he just goes and gets it. He had those 2 back-to-back dunks on somebody, by the way, with those baseline cuts. And just, I mean, $10 million a year is what we're paying for this guy. What a steal. And it's funny enough that Dallas fans are saying they want one more guy that can guard point of attack. Imagine if you had Derrick Jones Jr. still on that Mavericks team right now with Klay Thompson and Najee Marshall coming off the bench. That might be a championship team. Like, that might be the missing piece. Now you essentially have Klay. You have, I don't know, Derrick Jones Jr. coming off the bench. Like, that's pretty cheese. So, I mean, the CBA is the CBA. We're lucky enough to be the benefactors of getting Derrick Jones Jr., and he's been just absolutely incredible so far this season on both ends of the floor. The three-point shooting has just been a bonus. But between him, Chris Dunn, and Nico Batum, we have point of attack. We have size. Chris Dunn's not necessarily the biggest guy, but he's so strong and he's got such great hands. Then Derrick Jones Jr., crazy wingspan. Nicholas Batum, crazy wingspan. Then you got Zubats down there holding down the fort. And you got guys like James Harden and Norman Powell who have been putting in effort on a fairly consistent basis. Then Amir Coffey and Terrence Mann, who are very solid defenders. Not to mention we got one of the best defenders of his generation on the way back. Now, Nico played only a little bit of that fourth quarter, but I thought, as always, he did a good job. Actually, no, he didn't. He played 8 minutes of it. What am I saying? Didn't have a point, but he had 4 rebounds, an assist, a steal, and just plays excellent defense. But the fourth quarter was the quarter of Zoo and Norm. Of course, James Harden, he is the initiator. He didn't actually make a shot in the fourth, but he had 4 free throws, which were all his points in that quarter. But he's orchestrating, right? However, Norm played the entire quarter, and Zubats played all but 42 seconds of it. Zoo had 9 points and 6 boards. I mean, his finishing around the basket is just, after all those years of watching DeAndre Jordan have no touch around the rim, I'm so thankful for Zoo. I would take Zoo over DJ. Like, I would. And you know me, I'm very respectful of history. I do not go with recency bias. I don't live in the moment. Like, I live in the moment in life, but I don't just go with what I'm seeing. I'll pat myself on the back. I think I do a good job of keeping perspective when it comes to these comparisons, but I think it's debatable who you'd rather have between DJ or Zoo. But I just like a guy that's actually competent offensively outside of screening and lobs. Zoo has sublime touch. You can throw him the ball and get a bucket. Imagine if we could throw the ball to DJ and get a bucket when shit hit the fan. We could have been a championship team if we had that. But he didn't have that in his game, and that's okay. He's still great. He's still an athletic freak and one of the best Clippers of all time. Maybe he should get his number retired. I personally think Zubats is better than him. I think that All-Star appearance was only because Chris and Blake were hurt that year, and they were like, we have to have someone from the 4th-seeded Clippers on the All-Star team, and he's played the most games. And the center position was historically weak in the 2010s. The worst center era ever, bar none. End of story. So, I like DJ, but I like Zoo a lot more, to be honest with you. Like, I just like big men with skill and touch, with good footwork, with a jump hook. But how about Norm? 16 points in the fourth quarter, 6 of 10 from the field, 2 for 3 from deep. Mr. Addition by subtraction. He really is so great. I can't believe what he's doing. He's playing better than Paul George. Objectively. Is he better than him? Let's wait till the playoffs. But wow. We know he's more consistent. That's not really up for debate. But I have no words for him. This is a guy that I watched at UCLA, and he was part of that 2014 team with Jordan Adams and Kyle Anderson, who I love, obviously, and that team was sick. And then Kyle went to the league. Pretty sure Jordan Adams went to the league too after that. Jordan Adams he followed me on Instagram for a while. Unfortunately, he unfollowed me. He's probably like, yeah, I randomly followed this guy. What's he doing? But I'm going to get Jordan Adams on this podcast. I swear I will. Because I love that guy. And then Norm was our best player in 2015. And he's had a great NBA career. even before this season, he's had a great NBA career. He can say that he was part of a championship rotation. See, I'm a very respectful guy of championships. I know how hard it is to win, despite my team having not won. Because I watch basketball and I don't miss playoff games, and I study history, and I've watched the Lakers win 2 championships, and that's the closest I've been to following an NBA team winning a championship is 2020 Lakers and 2009 and 10 Lakers. Is on a nightly basis watching them, and I know what it takes. You know what I'm saying? Watching it from a fan's perspective, and if you're a player that can say that you were part of a championship rotation, actually got minutes, that's one of the greatest things you can say. Because there are some guys that just can't play in championship rotations. I don't even want to be mean, but there are some players that have such big egos that they'll never come off the bench, and because of that, they won't win. Because they're starting as a starter, they're just not good enough. Whether if they're a second or first option, they're not good enough, and they can't scale down. And then they don't want to come off the bench because their egos are huge. So a lot of players like that. I'm not even going to name names. There's guys like that. And then there's players like, I hate to say it, I'm not saying they're incapable of winning a championship, but guys like Lou Williams and Jamal Crawford, who were offense guys, perimeter based, and when their shot wasn't falling, how else were they contributing back then? Those guys have a harder time being in championship rotations than, say, the likes of a Derek Jones or Chris Dunn, who have a defensive floor that they can go to, as a basketball player. So, that matters to me. I think that's very valuable. And Norman Powell, he wasn't a huge part of that Raptors team, was the 8th man, but hey, man, he can say that. And what he's done this season, I mean, it's ridiculous. The level that he's gone to, it's quite absurd. Let's read the lines for tonight's game. The final score, 116 to 113, the Clippers. We win our 3rd straight game. We're 8-7 on the road, 19-13 on the season. Amazing. Shout out to coaching staff, James Harden, Chris Dunn, Norman Powell. It's crazy because, we went from... Actually, no, let's read the lines first. We outscored the Pelicans 29-23 in the 4th. New Orleans, they went 9 deep. Our good old friend Daniel Tice got 11 minutes, and he actually was 3 for 3 with 6 points, 2 rebounds, and an assist. Did turn the ball over twice. Our good old friend Brandon Boston, 3 points on 1 for 3 shooting. All his shots were threes. Pretty quiet overall. Javonte Green was 3 for 3 and made his only 3, and beat Nico, had a hand in his face. 7 points. And then Jordan Hawkins, 1 for 5 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3. 3 points. And then their starters, they all played 33-plus minutes, which you'd expect because those guys are all guaranteed rotation guys when everyone's healthy. Herb Jones played 33 minutes, had 18 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and just 1 turnover on 6 for 10 shooting, 2 for 3 from deep, and 4 of 4 from the foul line. So he had a really good game. He had a really solid game. Yves Missy, I really like this guy. He's got a really solid vertical ability. He's super active. I think he's got a great future in the league, honestly. I think he's going to be fantastic for this team. And, the Pelicans are likely going to make some moves. And if they do make some moves, make sure that's not a guy that gets moved. 12 points, 9 boards, 4 assists, 5 blocks, 1 turnover on 4 for 7 shooting, 4 for 6 on the foul line in 35 minutes. And then Trey Murphy, the third, 18 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, 2 turnovers on 6 for 10 shooting, 4 for 7 from deep, 2 for 2 from the foul line. Just a very solid stat line from him. And then you've got DeJounte Murray, who's struggling massively shooting the ball this season. 13 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, 6 steals, 4 turnovers on 6 for 16 shooting and 1 for 5 from 3. We know his shooting is suspect. We can go under screens on him, but he did a little bit of everything there. Played 40 minutes. I just think he's been a real disappointment, and I'm really questioning, how much DeJounte Murray actually helps teams win. With his 3 stops, mediocre Spurs, the mediocre Hawks. Everybody's injured now. I don't know why they even traded for him. Atlanta's won that trade with Dyson Daniels and Larry Nance. They've won it by far right now. New Orleans is 5-28. The season has come crashing down on them. Feel bad for Willie Green. Feel bad for their fans. because they've actually never even made it past the second round. They're low-key might be the worst franchise in the history of the league. Them and the Hornets are the worst active franchises in the league. Not about what state they're in now, but if we're talking history, they've never made it past the second round. Ha ha. How does it? You know how great it feels to say that, and we're not part of that anymore? It's like surreal. Anyway, CJ, already talked about him, so fuck them. I'm just kidding. I don't have anything against the Pels. They shot 51% from the field, 49 from 3, and 79% from the line, and still lost because they turned the ball over 16 times. We turned the ball over 17 times and still won. How do we win? I mean, when you look at the box score, nothing really stands out. We shot 48% from the field, 35% from 3. But you actually know something does stand out, and it's free throws. We got to the foul line 13 more times than they did. They were 11 for 14. We were 21 for 27. And remember the stat? James Harden, if he shoots 10 free throws or more, we're 10-0. Make that 11-0. James Harden with the 2 big free throws that put us up 114 to 112 on a boneheaded foul by DeJounte Murray, who wanted to give James Harden a hug. And then Yves Missy missed 1 of 2, and James Harden made both free throws again. So shout out to Harden for those clutch free throws. You need clutch free throws to win games. As a coach, I could tell you, do you know how many games have been lost at the line? And the Clippers, we've done a much better job of being the team that wins games at the line and doesn't lose games at the line. And James Harden and Norman Powell with their foul baiting and the way that they get calls, I'll tell you, they've been a big part of that. After the years of Paul George and Blake Griffin, I mean, I'll take the James Harden, Norman Powell getting all these calls. And Zubats, for that matter. Nothing was like Blake, though. They would try to fucking injure him. CP3 and Lou Williams got really good whistles, though, I will say. But anyway, let's read the lines for the good guys. 9-man rotation. Mo Bamba played 8 minutes, had 2 points, 3 rebounds, no turnovers, thankfully, and made his only shot. Then we had 16 minutes out of KPJ. I thought he was not very good. 5 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 turnovers, 2 for 9 from the field, 1 for 2 from 3. His misses are just so bad because they're like no pass possessions and just him isoing and dribbling too much and thinking that he's him when he's really just not him. 20 minutes played out of Nicholas Batum, shot 1 shot, and you know it was a 3. 3 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, and 1 turnover. I'll tell you, the guy's a triple single machine, and he plays defense doing it. He just helps you win basketball games. How many deflections? If we counted how many deflections he has, I think he would be up there with anyone on the team. Then we've got the man who got the most bench minutes, the Brewmaster. Quieter night for him. 6 points, 3 boards on 1 for 3 shooting, 0 for 1 from 3, and 4 of 4 from the foul line. It was a starter's night. They all played 32 minutes or more. Chris Dunn, I thought he was spectacular. 7 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, a lot of those out of the short roll, 2 steals, 1 block, 2 turnovers. On 3 for 7 shooting. The only downside, he didn't really make the 3 ball tonight. 1 for 5 from 3. But man, I'm so happy with Chris Dunn. He's literally been a revelation. I talked about it on Locked On Clips. Like, he deserves so much credit for what we're doing right now. He's been awesome. Yeah, solid performance in 32 minutes. And then Derrick Jones Jr., I mean, what more can I say? 200 on both ends of the floor. 11 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Just 1 turnover on 5 for 11 shooting, 1 for 6 from 3. So they shot. See, this is the beauty of Derrick and Chris Dunn, and this is why they might be champions one day. 2 for 11 from 3, and you still, in my opinion, had a great game. If you guard, you will be awarded in basketball. That simple. Doesn't matter what age you are. And how about the big 3? It's crazy, man. Before the season, we lost one of our members of our big 3. We just have a dynamic duo of Harden and Kawhi now. And now Kawhi is coming back, and we're going to have a big 4. Oh, shit. If Kawhi can stay healthy, we might have a better chance to win the championship this year than any of the 2-1-3 years. I can't believe I'm saying that. But because I'm so skeptical of Kawhi's health and James Harden at the highest level, I just subconsciously have clocked out of championship expectations. I literally treat this stuff as like a job now. I still have a lot of fun doing it, especially at the games and doing the vlogs and talking to the fans. But I've subconsciously lost belief in us winning a championship. There's almost nothing I can do about it right now. I've buried the belief so deep that I'm just going to be older when we win. It's going to be a couple. It's going to be not with Kawhi and Harden, but one day we'll win. And I don't think I'll be able to feel any differently until we see Kawhi win a first round series for us. Because if we win a first round series and we say Kawhi's healthy for it, then I'm going to be like, yo, like, is this really happening right now? Like, is this really fucking happening? But can you blame me for that? Look how much happier I look doing this compared to 2020 when I cared so much, or 2021, or even 2023. Did you watch my video at the end of 2023? Last year was my breaking point. We got James Harden. I still, between my dime Dover fan and me, I still cannot stand watching this guy. But he's good at what he does, which I've never denied. And we've needed him to do what we need to do. And we need him right now. And I'm thankful for what I think he's been a great Clipper. That doesn't mean I'm going to like him, though. He's not going to get liked. I'm not going to like say I like James Harden until if we get to the conference finals. Is the only way I can say that. Other than that, he's hurt the game, in my opinion. A lot of people have, though. He's helping the Clippers, though. And that's what matters. But anyway, let's read the lines of the big three. James Harden, 27 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 7 turnovers. Jesus. But 6 for 14 from the field, 5 for 10 from 3, 10 for 12 from the foul line in 36 minutes. We don't win these games without James. He's one of the best floor raisers in the history of the game. I've never denied that. And even if this season ends in a first-round exit, we needed to make sure we just didn't give OKC an extremely high pick, and James Harden will always be a part of that. And if we're being honest, he's still, and Norman Powell, you can say this about as well, our history is not rich. They're putting together some of the best seasons in Clipper history, especially for guards. And this team has become like the 2019 team in the way that people are enjoying them. That team just had some really fun personalities on it, and they had no big name. Like, at least this one has James Harden. And I mean, Kawhi Leonard waiting in the wings. But that team had like no, and what made it even more satisfying was that the Lakers got LeBron and they didn't make the playoffs. That was fucking hilarious. So, but it's got the same vibe of like, we're underachievers, we're not on national TV a ton, and we're showing people that we're legit. Zubats had 20 and 16 to go along with 4 assists and a steal. He had 7 offensive rebounds and didn't turn the ball over one time. He was 9 for 13 from the field. The only gripe I have is that he had half our missed free throws, 2 for 5. But like, I'm so proud of that guy, man. Like, I'm so freaking proud of that guy. He's so special. He really is. Longest tenured Clipper. And we had people talking about he's weak, trade him over the years. Like, I'm sorry, man, but a lot of y'all, I just don't know how much you know ball like that. If you're talking about how bad Zoo is, like, you don't get it. Like, because a lot of people just don't like slower-footed white European centers. Like, it's that simple. It really comes down to that. I'm sorry, but it does. You take Mo Bamba and Kai Jones over Zubats? Give me a break, dude. Now the player of the game, Norman Powell, 35 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 turnovers on 13 for 27 shooting. He really emptied the clip. Paul George, you watching? 4 for 12 from 3, 5 for 6 on the foul line in 40 minutes. Look, before the season, as I said, it felt like we lost a member of the big three, and now we just have a dynamic duo in Harden and Kawhi. Now with Kawhi on the way back, it feels like we have a big 4. Norman Powell is playing like a certified all-star right now. His efficiency and his production on a winning team speaks for itself. And I'm telling you, as somebody who hasn't missed a game this season, he has been as good as the numbers say. He really has. If not better, because we're winning games, and it's like you just don't get that same picture unless you're really watching, right? I mean, stats look fantastic, but there's another level when you see it every night. Zubats, he probably won't make the all-star team, but I mean, he's having all-star caliber impacts on the majority of nights. James Harden should be an all-star. That goes without saying. And then Kawhi is the best player on this team. So you're talking about 4 guys that are playing at an all-star caliber level when we thought we only really had 2. Does that mean we're back in the championship conversation? Well, it's the same conversation. Can Kawhi Leonard stay healthy? But I'm going to say this, and I'm a guy that's, very realistic about his own team. In fact, very cautiously pessimistic. If Kawhi is 90% of what he was last year, as one of my guys on the vlog I did recently said, we should have a chance to win this whole thing. Now, there's going to be people that say, and if I wasn't a Clipper fan, I'd be saying it too. What about James Harden, though? You trust him as a second option? Here's what I will say. When James was in Brooklyn, which was his best chance of winning a ring, besides if you want to say 2018, I think 2021, he was the second best player on that team. In the regular season, he was the best. But in the playoffs, to me, he was the second best player on that team. Kyrie was the third. KD was the man. But James was the third scorer. If he's the third scorer behind Kawhi and Norm, but he's really the second best player, maybe he can prove everybody wrong, including me, and win a championship. But it all starts with Kawhi. I just think Norm as a third option, he's already been there, done that as an eighth man. Now you can elevate him to a third man. He has championship pedigree. He plays without fear. Zubats, I've always said I believe he's a starting caliber championship center. Derrick Jones Jr., he did not have a good finals last year, but you know what? That's experience. You know, that was a moment for him. I have full confidence that he can be a starter on a championship team. And we have defensive-minded guys. And a lot of people realize that the formula for winning, to me, is having two-star players and a supporting cast around them. Denver Nuggets of 2023. AD and LeBron. Now, the Celtics of last year, they have like 4 or 5 all-star caliber players. And then the Warriors kind of had a similar thing where they only had one superstar in Steph Curry in 2022, but Wiggins was playing at an all-star level. Draymond had that all-star caliber impact in the games that they won. And then Klay Thompson and Jordan Poole were good for 16 plus points a night. So, you know, a little different. But my point is that these big threes and then everybody else is kind of trash relatively. That to me is not the formula unless that big three is so good and that available. We've seen so many flopped big threes recently. You know what I mean? In so many ways. And whether or not it's like, and if it does work out on the court, it doesn't always work out off the court, like the Clippers big three or the Nets big three. You know, and then you have the big threes that fail on the court, like Westbrook, LeBron, and Anthony Davis, or DeRozan, Fox, and Sabonis. You know, we can go on and on. But the point is that I think we can be back in this discussion if Kawhi is healthy. Now, am I going to put my money on that? Not really. But hey, man, it's much better than we thought we would be before the season. Now we're going to read some comments and then shift the gears to the Lakers trading D'Angelo Russell for Dorian Finney-Smith. And I'll also be chiming in on their game against the Kings yesterday. And I'll also be talking about the Kings because it's a soap opera over there. All right, I'm going to get some water, guys, because I'm thirsty as shit. But don't comment for a sec, just so when I come back, I can read your comments in quick succession. All right? Don't comment for the next, let's go with 10 minutes. All right? Don't leave, though. Hey, the only person that should comment right now is one of my mods saying don't leave. All right? Bones, take care of it, please. Be right back. 63 people, by the way. I love that. Over past midnight. Norman Powell. Oh, man. Good. Only one person left. 2 people left. That's good. I'll take that, honestly. That's holy water right now. Wow. Yeah. It didn't take long for Vlog 12 to get popping almost to 2K. Yeah, people watch that video, get that to 2K. It was great. Got fans talking about Kawhi's return. Aslan Ilya Yasa. What's up? Are you the same person as Now Skitbowl? Is that still you? Is that the same person? Dime the Fine, what's up? As a nighttime respiratory therapist, love that should never go on live on time. Thank you, King Charles. Are you on Twitter, King Charles? Amin Asan says the Pelicans have had our numbers, so to beat them and me is special. I feel you on that. I'm in class, so I'll just say it was a mess, especially the third quarter with consecutive turnovers. Thankfully, Norman Zoo showed who the stars are. He's from Turkey. I didn't realize Norm took the same amount of shots as Zuno combined. Different time zone. It's 11 a.m. here. Wish you good live, y'all. Dime back with a W. Yes, sir. Uzair Khan. Batum is really good POA. He is. Weak win. Oh, yeah, it's this guy. Never mind. CJ was pissing me off. He's not like that. Rui Wong. What's your name on Twitter? I feel like I recognize your thing. We could be developing Kai Jones into someone like Yves Missy instead of wasting our time on Mo Bamba. I feel you on that. I'm not going to lie. The amount of threes Pels were hitting were like shocking to me. LOL. Like Trey Murphy hitting that deep three and Jordan Hawkins hitting that. Yeah, it was. Splash and Skills. Happy holidays to you as well. Feel good about every win. Harden had more turnovers than assists, which was not good at all. Hey, we still won the game, though. Celtics lost the Pacers the other day. I mean, bro, they live and die by the three. Bones got busy. Like, it happens with them. Pels are a fake 5-win team, LOL. They're mostly healthy now. They'd be a playing team if they had those guys that played tonight all season. You think so? Even without Zion and Ingram? They're not Utah. I don't know, man. A team that's best player CJ McCollum in 2025, that's not going to do you much. I thought Harden. Oh, I know you're talking about. Okay. I thought Harden, just like you, was not giving effort defensively, and I was calling out his defense like you. Okay, yeah. Drive by Buddy says, we in the house. Sketchy win, but I'm taking it. Absolutely. Norm's having a better year than Steph. He really is. Nico's hustle plays are so underrated. The sad truth. Finally caught alive. What's good, Brody? What's going on, brother? Please, can I have a Glenn Rivers rant? Not tonight. Amina San says, also, we got a chance to take the 4th seed if we get this win tomorrow. It's against San Antonio. Yeah. Can't you believe that? I got no words for how well Norm's been either, man. Should be an all-star, no doubt. Yeah, I feel that. Colin Norman Powell's really put himself in all-star consideration. That shit's fucking insane. He deserved that jersey purchase. I'm going to be real. Lots of ballers are better than PG in the playoffs. I've been waiting for his production to drop, and he just gets better. Me down for over half a decade. He let me down for over half a decade. Okay. Carmelo. Yes. Well, here's what I'll say about Carmelo. If he had wanted to be a second option in his prime and deferred, he might have won. But he didn't. He wanted to be the man. So, yes, DeRozan is completely a prime example. I love the guy. You don't have to wait to the playoffs to see who's better because the Sixers aren't making it in the first place. Yes, they are. They're just going to make the play-in. I can promise you that. They're playing well recently. Better, I should say. I really thought Yves Missy was going to make that second free throw after he made the first one. Andrew Kassar says, Clippers ready for first title. I mean, this guy, at least you've said it for 2 straight lives without flip-flopping. Next loss, though, you're going to be all over. You blow up the team. Bubble ring, LOL. If any team would have killed to win that year. Not us. Clippers still need a power forward. AJ, you on Twitter? Pels are poverty for real. Jeez. My GOAT man killed the second round curse. That's right. Brody just had a perfect triple-double. I didn't watch it yet. I can't talk about it. But I've been watching the Nuggets. I'll talk about them soon. I'm going to do a video soon that's, what's it called? That is talking about every team with the 4 sportsmen. Clippers will win the title in the next 5 to 10 years. I hope so. From James Harden is the system. Kawhi will lock down SGA. Norman Powell MVP season. I hate watching KPJ. To me, his style of play is not a winning style of basketball. I feel you. Clippers should trade one move before deadline. Bismack Biyombo. Is he still in the league, fam? Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Defense wins titles. Vikings ready for Super Bowl? Hey, my Rams, bruh. We're in the playoffs. How about both LA teams making the playoffs? And we're gonna host a game. If that game is not on a Saturday, I will be there and we can get a vlog for that. I have an NFL wildcard vlog on our Super Bowl run. Go check out my videos. You just go to my playlist, Rams Super Bowl run. I was at the parade. That video has like no views. I was at the Super Bowl experience, and I went to the wildcard game, which is like to me the loudest Rams game yet at SoFi. But we could beat that because the NFC Championship was like 65% Niners fans or something. So It's great that we're back in the playoffs, man, after starting 1-4. And I haven't even been able to watch the games. I've been coaching on Sundays, but man, Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp on the same team. It's a blessing. Our O-line's been better than I expected. And so, yeah, I'm super excited, man. I hope I can just get to tune in. NFC West champs. McVay's just the best. Like, I just love that dude. Darian, how many games you give before? Oh, yeah, well, let's get to that, right? I think that's a good segue. Clippers are taking over the city of LA. And this might be the year you guys finally get a healthy Kawhi come playoff time. We'll see. Also, Loki, that intentional foul late on Missy was 200 IQ. With Kawhi, this team has untapped potential. You don't know how good a team can be. It's still December. Big ups, Darian. Flippers did Russ dirty with the Harden situation. I agree. Chill with the Flippers, though. James Harden statue? Okay, come on. Please, God, punish Dime. Forcing Harden win a title. That's punishment? James Harden deserve a title. He's got to go get the title, Andrew. He hurts the game. Kawhi can wait. Anything more than 50 games in 1 year is scary. Should Kawhi just wait till February? We don't need him now. Nah, the more reps, the better. Defense can get you all the way to the finals. Zubats got double-double in his last 8 games. Kai Jones is good. Why don't they play him? He's just raw. We need Paul George, who? You Clips are a super team. Relax. Kawhi will be the same Kawhi as last season, especially because he had that commercial. Okay. I'm just still concerned about Harden in the playoffs like you, Darian. Yeah. Even Batum. Paul George is a loser. Facts time. Just like you, I believe to win a championship, you need a star or two and surround your star or stars with very good role players. I got this belief after seeing how the Celtics and Mavs, LMAO, Kings. LeBron will play till 47 years old. D-Lo goes back to the Nets. LOL. Bring water and kebabs, dime dropper. They're starting to take our offense seriously. Pelicans only try hard against the Clippers. Do we trade for Brook Lopez? No. They've had our number for so long. Funny we won in the year we ain't expecting. Fuck all. Barely. No DraftKings tonight. Bones got busy. We got some news with that. Clippers winning. Net me $250. Let's go. There we go. By the way, I won my fantasy football championship off auto draft. Can you believe that? Norman Power better get all-star selection. What's up, DB? Go Clippers, yo. Yeah, but well, you don't want to. Ah, you're that dude. Dump ring. Okay. Is that imitating like an Asian Chinese American, like Chinese people trying to speak English? Juju Watt Goat? Jew Goat? She's a legend. What trade do you want to see the most? I don't know, man. Let's just have Kawhi back. That's good enough for me. No one beating the Chiefs, man. Chiefs are frauds, but it's cool. Pelicans always play the Clippers like it's game 7 of the finals. All right, we ready for the Lakers, fellas? Is this the year, dime dropper, or no? I don't know if it's the year. Yeah. Damn, look at Bones got busy. He's predicting what I say before I even say it. That's wild. All right. And now to talk about your Los Angeles Lakers. That's my Lawrence Tanner impersonation. All right, let's talk about it, though. I'll talk about this briefly. The Sacramento Kings are a complete fucking joke. You know what? Let's talk about Mike Brown for a second. The Sacramento Kings organization should be absolutely ashamed of themselves because what happened is they seem like they've made Mike Brown the fall guy for the fact that they fucked up by getting DeMar DeRozan. Let's start off by talking about that. DeMar DeRozan, who is a USC legend and he's from here and I love the guy, I don't think he's capable of winning a championship. And let me tell you why. He doesn't want to come off the bench, so he wants to start. He can't be the best part of a championship team. He can't even be the second best part of a championship team. So that's why they've put him in a third option role. He's not good off the ball. He doesn't work quickly off the catch, and he doesn't defend. The Sacramento Kings could not shoot the ball from 3 last season because guys like Keegan Murray had a dip in 3-point percentage. De'Aaron Fox started shooting more threes and did not shoot him at a very good percentage. And Kevin Huerter fell off a cliff. And they got DeRozan, a guy who's a clutch mid-range guy, as if they don't already have that in De'Aaron Fox. It didn't make much sense. I thought it would help their half-court offense because when the game slows down, it really hasn't. And on top of all that, De'Aaron Fox is really disappointing me. I thought that De'Aaron Fox, was better than this. I'm listening to Sacramento media. I'm listening to my boy Matt George over at Locked On Kings. Sounds like De'Aaron doesn't really have leadership qualities. He's just a lead by example guy. And when that example is going missing in quarters of games, not closing the way he has in the past, giving ridiculous short answers in press conferences, and not taking accountability after he fouled Jaden Ivey on that three-point shot, and now that people are saying he wants to leave, the Kings fucked up last offseason by not improving their team. And this season they messed up by going for the wrong player. But De'Aaron Fox, the Kings have invested in him. They chose him over Halliburton. They got him Sabonis. Okay, they failed here, but it looks like to me, from the outside looking in, it looks like De'Aaron Fox is quitting on them. And I watched this game against the Lakers. I wasn't impressed. He was bricking shots. DeRozan actually was playing really well. But this Kings team doesn't guard. And Keegan Murray is having an even worse year than last year. You know what's funny is De'Aaron Fox ended up having 29, 5, and 12. But they allowed, how are you the Sacramento Kings and you're allowing the Lakers to score 132 points without LeBron? 132 points. Who's playing defense? Who's playing defense? Sabonis had a double-double. DeRozan had 25, 6, and 7. De'Aaron Fox has double-double. Malik Monk had 20. And you're still losing by double digits against the Laker team without LeBron. The firing Mike Brown was absurd. He literally brought the Kings back. It's not De'Aaron Fox that ended up, turning things around. Mike Brown came and turned things around. And, we just don't give the players enough blame when shit goes wrong. We give them all the credit, but we don't give them any of the blame. My thing is when you have guys that ask out for organizations and want to go to like these bigger market teams or whatever, I always ask the question, are you doing everything you can so that it's not your fault and we should feel sorry for you? And with De'Aaron Fox, the answer is no. He's very much a part of the issue. The part of the problem is that the Kings don't have a number one option, and it's finally coming back to bite them in the ass. They don't have a number one option. They don't have a clear number one guy. They have two guys that should probably be second options on championship contenders, Fox and Sabonis. And then a third guy that's clearly not very good to be a third guy. And now the rumors are coming out that Mike Brown wanted DeRozan to come off the bench, and DeRozan said no. And then De'Aaron saying that he didn't want Mike Brown fired and is coming out and kind of denying any rift between the two. But then he had that quote the other day talking about, that's the great part about the NBA is, these contracts are guaranteed. It's like, yeah, he's still getting paid kind of vibes. Like, what? I'm just not happy with the way De'Aaron Fox has been moving. As far as the Lakers, though, they came out with an offensive clinic. 40 points in the first quarter, 42 points in the third quarter. Their pick and rolls are fantastic. Anthony Davis was dominant. And he's just clearly showing he's the most indispensable player on this team, which we already knew. And LeBron was out with an illness. I mean, I don't know, a day before his 40th birthday. By the way, happy 40th birthday to LeBron James. It's amazing what he's still doing at his age, but everybody's missing games with an illness these days. Is everybody's immune system just worse? That doesn't support the evolution narrative. Illness is so full of shit, dude. I mean, it's just different ways of load management. I'm telling you, these guys are not slick. I'm not saying every single time they're not sick, but come on. Like nowadays, everybody's missing because they have a common cold. Give me a fucking break, dude. We don't want the rest of our team getting sick. Like, what is this, third grade? Anyway, the Lakers played a 9-man rotation. Christian Koloko played 5 minutes at 4 points on 2 of 2 shooting. Cam Reddish, 2 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists, and a steal. Don't have much to say about him. 1 for 3 from the field, 0 for 1 from 3. Gabe Vincent only played 7 minutes. I don't know if he got hurt or something, or only just ended up playing 7. He had a donut. It's kind of rare because he's been very involved lately. By the way, like the Kings' backup center is Alex Len. Like, I'm sorry, but he's not very good. 3 points, 1 assist for him on 1 for 1 shooting in 11 minutes. There's a -8. Trey Lyles, again, apparently He's been good in games I haven't watched, but again, he's just not very good at basketball on an NBA level when I watch him. 6 points, 5 rebounds on 2 for 8 shooting and 0 for 5 from 3. Sacramento shot 51% from the field and 27.5% from 3, 11 for 40, 11 for 15 from the free throw line. Whereas the Lakers shot, oh my God, 60% from the field, 54% from 3, but they didn't shoot high volume, 14 for 26. And then 79% from the foul line, 18 more free throw attempts for the Lakers, 21 more shot attempts for the Kings. So you're always going to take the free throw attempts. Man, 60, 54 splits for the Lakers. They really were hitting everything. Kevin Huerter had an efficient game off the bench. 9 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists, 1 steal on 4 for 7 shooting, 1 for 4 from 3. So again, he couldn't make his threes. And then Keon Ellis, he actually made 3 out of the 11 threes for the Kings. He had 11 points on 4 of 4 shooting and 3 for 3 from deep. D'Angelo Russell, this would be his last game as a Laker. 9 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 turnover on 4 for 10 shooting, 1 for 4 from 3. I thought he was okay. Dalton Connect, nice game for him. He has been in a major slump, but for him to have a game like this was really nice if you're a Laker fan. 2 straight games of shooting the ball really well and scoring in double figures after, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games of being in single digits. So 18 points on 6 for 10 shooting, 2 for 5 from 3, 4 of 4 from the foul line to go along with 2 rebounds and an assist. Big time game for Dalton to have that 18 points. And then the starters, Max Christie, who just continues to play excellent basketball, and to me is part of the reason why the Lakers felt comfortable making a move for trading D'Angelo Russell. He had 16 points, a rebound, 2 assists, 2 steals, and a block on 5 for 8 shooting, 3 for 5 from 3, and 3 for 3 from the foul line. Very solid performance yet again from Max. And then you have Rui Hachimura, who I thought was really good. And in a game without LeBron, you need this kind of production from him. He had 21 points, 4 rebounds, 1 steal, 2 blocks, just 1 turnover on 7 for 11 shooting, 4 of 5 from 3, and 3 for 3 from the foul line. So fantastic splits all the way around from Rui, doing it in the mid-range, doing it from 3, and he's been very solid for the Lakers all year long. Austin Reeves, what a game for him. He's having this best season of his career, just continues to get better each year, now in year 4. 26 points, 6 rebounds, 16 assists, 5 turnovers on 9 for 16 shooting, 3 for 4 from 3, 5 for 8 from the foul line, though. But what a performance by Austin Reeves in 43 minutes, and definitely a reason why the Lakers are comfortable making this D'Lo trade. And then AD, the player of the game for me, 36 points, 15 rebounds, 8 assists on 12 for 16 shooting, made his only 3, and was 11 for 13 from the foul line. Super aggressive going to the basket and forcing the defense to play to guard without fouling, and they couldn't. As far as the Kings starters, Keegan Murray, 5 points on 2 for 7 shooting and 1 for 6 from 3. It's sad just watching him brick every 3. Every time he shoots an open 3, I feel like he's going to miss. Malik Monk had 20 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists on 7 for 16 shooting, 3 for 8 from 3, and 3 for 3 from the foul line in 33 minutes. And then their big 3, DeMar DeRozan, 25 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal, 1 turnover on 12 for 17 shooting, 0 for 2 from 3, 1 for 1 from the foul line in 41 minutes. So a lot of tough 2s, 12 for 15 from 2. I mean, it was a good game for him, but they don't guard. Sabonis, 14 points, 12 rebounds, 7 assists, fouled out of the game, 6 for 13 from the field, struggled with foul trouble all night, 2 for 3 from deep in 26 minutes. That's why Alex Len ended up playing 11 minutes, and you had Trey Lyles playing 23. I mean, that's not Sabonis. Then Fox, 29 points, 5 rebounds, 12 assists, 4 steals, 1 block, 3 turnovers on 12 for 25 shooting, 1 for 9 from 3. And I have to say this about De'Aaron Fox. I don't think he's a good 3-point shooter. He tried to up his volume last year, and he's more inefficient now. I just don't think he should be shooting that many threes. Just stick to what you're good at, honestly. But anyway, the Kings are a disaster. The most disappointing team in the league. They're 13-19. Doug Christie, Pepperdine legend, is their interim coach. They beat the Mavericks tonight, though. Wow. They beat the Mavericks tonight. So we'll take that, which makes me look at the updated standings. The LA Clippers are half a game behind Dallas. So if we win tomorrow against the Spurs, we're going to be tied with Dallas, and we'll be 1-1 against them on the season. So that'll be interesting, but it's no point of looking at tiebreakers right now. And by the way, the Houston Rockets, they're having a tough homestand right now. They're only 2 games above us. And I love that, because if we can keep our pick, I might just like James Harden for that, honestly. If we can just keep our pick, like, that would be huge, because it looked like Houston was going to be so much better than us. And now with Kawhi coming back, if we can keep our fucking pick, oh my God, I'll be so happy. But anyway, now it's time to talk about the Lakers trade. Lakers made a trade on Sunday. D'Angelo Russell headed to Brooklyn for a second time. On the way back, and Max Lewis, Pepperdine legend, although I'm using that lightly, but I think it's fine. I don't really know if Max is an NBA player, to be honest with you. I never thought so, even though I watched him up close at Pepperdine. But as far as D'Lo being traded for Dorian Finney-Smith and Shake Milton, the official trade is D'Angelo Russell, Max Lewis, and 3 second-rounders to Brooklyn for Dorian Finney-Smith and Shake Milton. And the picks are 2027, 2030, and 2031. Honestly, I think this is a huge win for the Lakers. I've talked about on this show before, and we've covered basically all of D'Angelo Russell's time with this second tenure with the Lakers here on Dime Dropper. You can go through all the videos. And I think he had a very solid second tenure. You know, he got a chance to finish off a chapter with the Lakers in which he started. He was a big part of them making the conference finals, but ultimately at the highest level of basketball, his game ended up being a type that doesn't translate. You know, I talked about those guys. What role can they play on a championship level team? I think D'Angelo Russell can play as a 6-man kind of role on a championship team, but the Lakers just needed defense more. We've talked about it. This Laker team can't really guard. You know, their best defender is Max Christie and like really Gabe Vincent, and you're asking a lot of Austin Reeves. I mean, of course, Anthony Davis is the best defender on the team, but we're just talking like point of attack, right? Now you're adding more size. You're adding a guy that guards the best players in Dorian Finney-Smith. You know, he has playoff experience, has gone to the conference finals with Dallas, and he's such a likable guy. Dallas Maverick fans loved him. He shoots the 3-ball really well, and this season, he's shooting the 3-ball at a 43% clip. Do I think that he's averaging 10 points a game to go along with 5 rebounds? Do I think that's sustainable? No, I don't. But do I think he's going to shoot 38% or higher? Yes. And that mixed with defense is a huge win for the Lakers, because that's not something they've really had in recent years. And even if they get Vando back, and they said that Vando was a participant in practice on Monday, but not contact, the Lakers are now getting pieces that will make them a competent defensive team. And that will then make them a greater threat to do things in the playoffs. So as far as D'Lo, you know, the thing about him is he doesn't get to the paint enough. He lives on a diet of tough jumpers, right? And that can be very hit or miss. And when you're missing those shots, you're not really drawing 2 players on the ball, which creates openings for other teammates. He's not a good defender at all. And the biggest thing about D'Lo is he doesn't do the little things that help you win games at the highest level. You don't see him diving for a loose ball. You don't see him playing super hard defensively. You don't see him crashing the boards. You don't see extra effort stuff. So it's really he's just a skill player. And in the starting lineup, he is too cool for school, you know, as a 4th option. If he's a 4th option, it's a lot of off-ball stuff. And, you know, he's whatever with the catch and shoot threes. I feel like he needs a little bit more of a rhythm. So that's why I thought he played better basketball when he went to the bench. But the Lakers got an opportunity to get Dorian Finney-Smith. Shake Milton also can do some of what D'Lo does off the bench, but he's been in and out of NBA rotation, so we'll see. I think he'll be very streaky. As far as D'Lo, it's kind of harsh, you know, going from a team that has a chance to do something to the Nets who are rebuilding, and it's like sending him to the Nets for a rebuild again. But he is a free agent in the summer. he can build his value up a little bit by going off there, and the fans love him there. But we'll see. He might get bought out for all we know, and then it'll be interesting to see where he gets routed to. But if you're the Lakers, I think you got to win here. The D'Angelo Russell was disappointing in the playoffs. You get a guy that's proven in the playoffs that can guard the point of attack, and now you're looking at, he's not going to start against Cleveland, but a lineup of potentially Austin Reeves at the point guard position, and then you have Max Christie, Dorian Finney-Smith, LeBron, and AD. You have a lot of defense there. You have two guys guarding point of attack and Anthony Davis. Essentially, LeBron and Austin Reeves are your worst defenders in that lineup. And then you have Jared Vanderbilt coming off the bench to go along with Rui Hachimura, who you now have coming off the bench for that offensive spark, and Gabe Vincent, who's starting to pick it up. So the one flaw, though, to me, you look at this roster, backup big. Both LA teams need a backup big. I think the Lakers need an upgrade over Koloko and Jackson Hayes if they want to be a championship contender. Because I still think that there's the thing that Laker fans don't want to admit, a lot of them, some do, but some don't, is that if they don't have a third star, and let's say Austin Reeves is the closest thing to that, this is a pretty good supporting cast. The one other place I would improve is the center spot. But what shooting guard kind of guy are you going to find that's not all-star caliber? You know what I'm saying? That's going to really make a difference here. It's got to be an all-star caliber kind of guy to take Max Christie out of that starting lineup. Or you can go big and go Austin Reeves, Dorian Finney-Smith, LeBron, and then either Rui or Vando in that starting lineup when Vando comes back. But I think the thing that people don't want to talk about is this. Everybody knows that LeBron is not going to be the best player on a team at age 40. He might be the best player in a series and maybe win finals MVP, but he's not going to be the best player on a championship team at age 40. Anthony Davis, it's pretty consensus. And if you don't believe it, that Anthony Davis is the best player on this team, then I think you're just a LeBron fanboy. But can Anthony Davis, because this is not 1A, 1B anymore. LeBron's the leader, but AD is the best player. Can AD be the best player on a championship team? Consensus, not 1A, 1B. Can he score the ball and create offense enough for that? Can Austin Reeves be a third option on a championship team? These are the big questions. And again, this is not a shot at them. This is how hard it is to win a championship. Your second best player is 40. We've never had anybody do that, but LeBron's an exception. So AD's got to be that guy. Can he be the best player on a championship team? We'll see. I think the next step for the Lakers is to get, I think, a third star. At this point, you're gutting your team. There's no way you can get a third star without trading Austin Reeves. And I don't think you should trade Austin Reeves for what? For Zach LaVine? I think Austin Reeves is good to alleviate pressure off of LeBron, because now that you don't have D'Lo, you have one less creator. Vincent, he hasn't really sold me as a creator yet. So having Reeves is very important. You need another on-ball guy to take pressure off a 40-year-old man. So I think it's a big win for the Lakers overall. And I think D'Lo will be remembered fondly for this second tenure, even though he had some rough moments. But it's still not the type of move that makes me say the Lakers are a championship contender now. But they're closer to it, and that's important. And so Pelinka, it's always funny. He seems to save his ass every time the pressure's at the highest. With the D'Lo move, the first to get D'Lo and Vando, that was huge, right when everybody was criticizing him, and now he did this. So we'll see. The Lakers might still be cooking. They didn't give up any first-round picks. So I think their next move is going to be either going for a backup big or a third star, although I think a third star is too risky. I think you just got to go with the model right now, which is still with LeBron and AD. You have the closest thing to a third star that you didn't have in 2020 in Austin Reeves. And then from there, you fill it out with defensive pieces like you had in 2020. So I think that's the move. But appreciate you all for being here, and thank you so much for joining. If you enjoyed the content, make sure you subscribe on the channel for all things LA sports, LA basketball, and of course, NBA. Have a good night and have a happy new year, but I'll be live tomorrow to talk about Lakers, Cavs, and Clippers, Spurs.